Hello and welcome back to Beckler Guitars and Repairs. Today we're going to be looking at something pretty sparkly. Okay, so I picked this one up locally. And yeah, it immediately caught my eye because of how cool it looks. So this is a 2008 Hagstrom D2F. It's got humbucker pickups with coil tap, master volume, 2 tones, 3-way selector, humbucker pickups, roller bridge, a tremolo system. It's kind of like a Bigsby, but it's got a couple differences. I really like the ridges that the strings rest in, because the Bigsby's they don't have that, so it's a little kind of keeps everything where it needs to be. This one has it's a man-made material that they use for the fretboard. It's called resonator, so it's kind of like rich light, I would assume, or kind of like that last guitar we reviewed, that the switch, kind of like an ebonol, like a man-made ebony is basically what it is. It's got a self-lubricating nut, and it's got some nice inlay there. So this is a mahogany body, a maple neck with the resonator fingerboard. It's got that really nice sparkle top with an F hole, so it's semi-hollow, and it's got a nice belly carve right there, and the Hagstrom tuners. So alright, yeah, it looks good. Seems to be in really good condition. I didn't notice any scratches or dings anywhere. In fact, it still has the plastic on in the back. So let's throw it on the bench and get some specs. So here it is on the bench for the first time. This is the same condition I picked it up in, so I don't do any work on them, on these guitars, before the video. So this is just checking it out for the first time I get them home. I do have a look at them when I pick them up quickly. So I check a few things, like make sure the electronics are working. I check the neck, make sure the neck isn't warped and straight. I check the frets just to make sure they're not super worn. Just the basic stuff. I check the truss rod. And then when we do a tear down here, we see it just as I got it home. So right off the bat, very good condition. A little dirty, needs cleaning. The fingerboard is not too grimy. There's hardly any fret wear. These strings are rusted, so they need to be changed. And no scratches or dings anywhere. Ooh, and the plastic is still on the cavity plates. So let's go ahead and enjoy that. More up here. Yes. Great. Love that. Alright, let's get a weight. So it is 9 pounds, 14.5 ounces. Let's get some pickup readings. Make sure everything's turned up. Yeah, okay. So on the Bridge pickup, it's 8.15. Middle position, 3.86. And neck, 7.36. You can also see how the coil split works. So in the back pickup, it's 8.15. We hit the coil split button, it splits it to 4.15. In the middle position, it goes down to 1.98, and the neck is 3.80. Gonna check out the neck profile using our feeler gauge. Okay, so looks like it's kind of a rounded C. It flattens out quite a bit by the 12th fret. So it's pretty standard neck there. Yeah, so the neck, it feels kind of like a 60s Slim, like a Gibson. It's not too chunky, it's pretty slim. And then let's check our widths and depths. Okay, so first fret we're looking at a 1.68, and on the 12th a 2.07. First fret neck depth 0.764. 12th fret 0.796. It is great. I cannot find really a flaw with it. Once it's cleaned up, it should look pretty much brand new. So I'm going to go ahead and change the strings. The strings are off. Let's take a look at the pickups just to see what the routes look like and what sort of pickups they're using. So let's have a look. So it looks like they're their own brand of pickup. I'm not really familiar with Hagstrom's pickups really. It looks like it says Custom 60N, which is looks like their own style of pickup. The routes look good. You can see here, it looks like it was additionally routed just a little bit there, but you can see that it's got a mahogany body with quite a big maple top. Like it's got a thick maple cap on there, much like a Les Paul, and the top is sculpted like a Les Paul as well. Some nice looking routes. Looks like it's got a nice thick maple top on there. And this is our back pickup. So the back pickup says Custom 58B, so Custom 58 bridge. So they look like decent pickups. And there again you can see the thick maple cap with the mahogany on the bottom, and the routes look nice and clean. Let's fit that back in there. There we go. Have a quick look at the roller bridge. So it looks like it's locked you do need an Allen key to look at that. So let me just grab one. So got the bridge off, and it's unmarked, but it looks like a decent quality roller bridge, and it does lock with these locking screws from both sides. So your bridge will not come off unless you want it to. So let's put that back on. Bigsby style bridge goes. Yeah, it seems like it's quality. Everything feels like it's heavy duty metal. It's got the nice Hagstrom badge in the back. And I really like the slotted spots for the strings to rest in. Okay, let's check out the back cavity. Okay, I've got the screws out, so let's just have a look. So it looks like the switch cavity plate is shielded, and so is the control cavity plate. So here's a look at the pots and the capacitors. It all looks to be original wiring, and they're using full-size pots, which is nice. There's the, I'll get a better angle there. There's the coil tap switch, and looks like the pots date it to these are not, oh yeah, there we go. So 0807, so the pot's dated to 2008, just like the serial number, so we can be pretty sure that those are going to be original. And there is the switch. Looks like a pretty standard style switch. And the F-hole, I'm just seeing how much of this is actually chambered, so I'm just feeling around. I don't have an endoscope, so, but I can kind of feel. So it looks like it's probably chambered out from the F-hole all the way to the switch. I did see that, so they put a chamber in there for the wiring of the switch. But it doesn't go very far back this way, so I believe this area is just chambered out. So it's semi-hollow, and the F-hole route looks good. We're going to clean up the fingerboard and put a new set of strings on it. I'm using Dunlop 65 for cleaning and polishing. If the fingerboard's really grimy, I'll use a specific fingerboard cleaner, but for just minor cleaning, I'll use the Dunlop 65 for everything. So yeah, there's very little grime on there whatsoever, and a quick wipe down is all it needs. Let's have a quick look at the truss rod cavity. So it looks like these frets are just, no, they're not bad. I was going to say they're slightly sharp, but they're just pulling on the microfiber cloth and getting a couple threads in there. But they don't feel sharp at all. So there's the H expander truss rod. That's patented by Hagstrom. and I've never had a Hagstrom with neck issues, and I think it has a lot to do with that H expander truss rod. It's a lot thicker than a normal truss rod, and it kind of looks like an H as it sits in there, and it just does a really good job of keeping necks straight, and they're quite easy to adjust as well, so they're very responsive. So that is a really cool feature from Hagstrom. I'm just going to leave the truss cover off for now in case we need to do a slight adjustment after we get the strings on. I'm using Dunlop, or I'm using D'Addario EXL 120s, which is my favorite brand and model of strings. They're lights, they're 9 to 42. And Bigsby's are kind of a pain to restring. So what I like to do is I like to put a little kink in the string so it's easier to slip on, and then you go underneath the bar in front of the Bigsby and then over top of the bridge. So these are nice because they have that little groove there that makes it a little bit easier to keep things where you want it. And then you kind of have to maintain tension on the string as you restring it, otherwise that back part can fall off and then you basically have to start over again. So a little bit of a hassle, but as long as you maintain the tension on there, it's not a big deal. So I let go of the tension because I can see it's on there pretty well, and then I can maintain tension again and hold it down here as I wind the string. So there. Just make sure I did that right. And there, okay. So I'll just do that for every string now. Okay, strings are on. Now I'm just going to tune it up and check the setup. Now we're just going to check the setup. So we can see here, right at the 3rd fret, if we finger the 3rd fret, we can see that the low E string is almost resting directly on the fret. So that means it's the action is set really nicely at the nut, and that's the same for every string. So setup is perfect. at the nut here. I'm going to check the relief in the neck. And there's almost no relief at all in the neck. So if we can get it nice and low with no buzz, with no relief, that's great. If we're noticing some buzz up here, we can also put a little bit of relief in by loosening the truss rod. But let's just check the action at the 12th fret here. It seems like it's very low. So, checking the action at the 12th on the low E, it's about 1 to 1.5, and on the high E, it's like 1. So, that's a very low setup. So, we'll see if we have any buzz anywhere that needs to be addressed. So, okay, so yeah, it's got a really nice setup on here, nice and low action, no buzzing anywhere on the fingerboard. If you're a more aggressive player, or if you play with a heavier pick, you may want to adjust the truss rod a bit to give it a little bit more relief, just so you don't get any buzz when you're digging in. But I I use a pretty light touch with a very thin pick, so this is just perfect for me, because very low action. It feels great. So usually you can't achieve that low of action on a cheaper guitar. These are more like a mid-range guitar. I think they would sell for around, you know, $700 to $900 Canadian. So to be able to play with that low of action with no buzzing at all, usually you don't see that on you know, cheaper to mid-range guitars. That's usually reserved for like higher end stuff, something that's plecked, like the Gibsons, or something that's been handmade. It's where there's a lot of attention to detail. So that's great. The frets are also nice and shiny and easy to bend on. They're very highly polished. That's another spec you usually see on high-end guitars. So overall, pretty impressed with this guitar. So now I'm just going to trim the strings, put all the cavities back on, give it one last tune, and then we can plug it in and see how it sounds. Okay, here we are plugged into the Diamond Del Fuego tube amp. I'm using a Bugera PS1 Power Soak attenuator, and I've got nothing turned on for pedals right now. So this is just straight into the amp and guitar. So here we go. I'm just going to do some, run the bridge pickup. I'm just going to do some finger picking so we can hear what it sounds like clean. Middle pickup. Alright, so forgot to do coil tap parts. So I'm just gonna do clean. That's the bridge. Here's the coil tap. So yeah, that's actually pretty usable. I'm gonna move up to the bridge. This is the humbucker, and this is the single coil. So I'd say that's pretty usable. I'm just going to put a little bit of overdrive on the single coils and see how that sounds. So we're on the bridge. Now this is the neck. Oh yeah, so yeah, the coil taps actually are quite usable as well. So yeah, the pickups sound good. I'm just gonna try the tremolo. I'm gonna use it pretty aggressively and just see how well the guitar stays in tune. Keep in mind these are new strings. I did stretch the strings, but sometimes they need to break in a little bit further. So. Alright, just see if it's in tune. Wow, yeah, so it stayed in tune really well. I'm just going to check the tuning. Yeah, E is in. A is just maybe a tad sharp. D is in. G is in. B is in. E is in. Wow, so a lot of high-end guitars have trouble keeping tune when using a Bigsby, so that's pretty impressive. Alright, so now I'm going to turn on the Toro Servo pedal, which is basically just kind of a boost pedal. And I've got the gain up, so it'll overdrive the amp. And we can hear what a little bit of overdrive will sound like. So we're on the bridge pickup. quite impressed with this guitar. It's doesn't have a mark on it. It looks like it was hardly used. There's no fret wear at all. Everything's original. It plays great, super low action, with no buzzing anywhere. It stays in tune really well, even with the tremolo system. So that might be due to the self-lubricating nut, the roller bridge, and just the quality of the trem. But yeah, I was using it pretty aggressively and it was staying in tune really well. The pickups sound great. Yeah, if you can get your hands on one of these guitars, I would say go for it. Overall great. There's no finish flaws. Plays and sounds really nice. And overall just blown away for the quality, considering the price point. So thanks again for tuning in to Beckler Guitars and Repair, and we'll see you next time.